Hey there, hi there everybody. This is getting a infinite streak using only 4-star champs. Now, it's going to be critical that before you even start off, you want to save yourself at least 1 or 2 of your best power control teams. So for me, I'm going to be setting aside my Blade, Sparky, and Ghost Rider. And then also I'm going to be saving my Rogue, Dr. Voodoo, and OG Vision. We are not going to be using suicides, we aren't going to be using boosts, and we aren't going to be staggering our teams. That being said, let's get in it straight away. These are all maxed out 4 stars, so I'm going to start at the top of my roster and slowly start working my way down. So that leads us to the first batch, fights 1 through 5. Fights 1 through 5 are very easy, straightforward fights. You're immediately going to be paired up with opponents who either outrank you star ranking wise or have a slightly higher or slightly average PI level. You're not going to be running into opponents that are very difficult or challenging. It's just a straightforward vanilla fight. So again, for the first 5 fights here, I'm just starting at the top of my 4-star roster, working my way down. For me, all of these are going to be maxed out. I'm not going to be getting into my rank 4 4-star champs until later on. So now we've won 5 matches, and it's been pretty straightforward. The opponents have been fairly on par with us. Most of all of them have been at least 1 star ranking higher than us, but the fights have been, like I said, pretty straightforward. Now for fights 6, 7, and 8, things get a wee bit more challenging. So take a look here. So I still have maxed out 4-star champs. So now the opponent team rating is either slightly above ours or up to 6,000 points higher. At this point, the fights are still relatively straightforward, but they start to be a wee bit more complicated. And I say complicated because starting with fights 6, 7, and 8, the AI starts misbehaving a bit more. Now, what do I mean by that? Usually the AI is always running to attack you, they're throwing specials when they're supposed to be throwing specials, and they're fairly manageable. And now at this point, the AI is starting to get a bit more passive, so they're either going to be blocking a bit more, they're either going to be refusing to throw their specials as frequently, or worse still, and this is only found in the arenas and nowhere else, an opponent will run up, stop immediately in front of you, and just stand there. They don't attack, they don't block, they just stand there. And this is extremely annoying because you're still fighting other summoners, which means the other summoner has the parry mastery enabled, which means if the guy is just standing there, 9 times out of 10, you will get parried. So just be mindful of that. Although overall, all said and done, fights 6, 7, and 8, slightly more difficult, not too bad. Now here we are, fights 9 and 10. 9 and 10 take what I just said and crank it up another small notch. So we're still fighting opponent players, but now the enemy team rating is about, well, it's anywhere from 6,000 to 12,000 points higher than us. Now I'm still using maxed out 4 stars, but you're starting to run into maxed out 5 stars. And the AI is continuing to play a bit more passive. At this point, it doesn't really matter which of the 3 opponents you choose, whether it's the highest team rating or the lowest team rating, they're all going to play about the same. Where it says easy, medium, or hard, that's basically a misnomer. At the end of the day, they all wind up playing about the same. The best strategy for this section here is to play smart. You don't want to throw yourself recklessly at the enemy, because then you're going to get destroyed. Be patient, be mindful, try and bait out specials, and it'll work out fine. So here we go. We've won 10 matches so far. We have 5 matches to go before we get that infinite streak. But these next fights are going to be the hardest in the entire arena run. This is when you want to go back and use those couple of teams that we saved at the very beginning. So I'm going to start off with my Blade Sparky Ghost Rider team, which again, like I said, is an amazing synergy to begin with, but Sparky and Ghost Rider both can drain power. We're paired up against 3 formidable enemies, the easiest of which is 9,000 points higher than us, the hardest is 1,400 points higher, and at this point the game is starting to throw 6 stars against you. All that means is that you just need to play a wee bit more cautiously and realize that the enemies are going to be doing a bit more damage than usual. Now these fights are going to be a bit more challenging. The AI is cranked to 11 when it comes to passive fighting, so go in expecting that they are not going to throw their specials willingly. A good strategy is to try and bait out specials as early as when they get 1 bar of power. They chase you and you dance around from one end of the field to the other. You have 2 bars of power to play with. If you start off getting them to 2 bars of power and then they just sit there, it's going to be much more difficult to safely bait out a special without running the risk of either dying to block damage or them being pushed to 3 full bars of power and just destroying you. This is also where an advanced knowledge of champ mechanics comes into play too. Some champs can trigger power gain, some champs can trigger debuffs, some champs can trigger auto block, and these are all good things to keep in mind so nothing catches you off guard. For the second squad here, I'm going to use 3 strong power control champs, and that's going to come in handy because at this point the game throws some of the most annoying defenders against you. You're going to start seeing a lot of Dominos, you're going to see a lot of Corvuses, and you're going to see a lot of Hyperion. So you have to be aware of who you're going to wind up fighting. This is also where having a diverse roster comes into play too. By having 3 different classes on your arena team, it gives you a bit more flexibility with who to pair up against. If you bring 2 or 3 of the exact same class, the game most likely is going to pair you up with the worst case scenario. So for example, if you bring 3 tech champs, the game is most likely going to try and throw 3 cosmic champs at you. So just play smart. You're not going to end fights super quick. Fights can go on for 2-3 minutes apiece. The idea is to play smart, bait out specials, and stay alive. Here we go. We've won 12 straight. We are 3 wins away from a perfect arena streak. The idea is you want to keep going and keep winning until you get a 15 streak. So if you've got strong 5 stars you'd rather use instead of your power control team, go for it. It'll be a wee bit easier. But for the purpose of this video, we're just going to refresh our 4-star power team by not using the 5 stars or the 6 stars, and by continuing to run with our 4 stars, maxed out as though they may be. We are going to continue to be paired up against extremely difficult opponents. Now just taking a look at the roster here, we're rounding up 19,000. The easiest opponent is 32,000, and that goes up to 44,000. Now those might seem like a big difference and big scary numbers, but if you use the same mechanics that we've used before, playing smart, playing cautiously, baiting out specials, avoiding unnecessary damage, and playing the long game, at the end of the day, it's going to be a slow fight, but it's going to be okay. So there we go. That is win 15. Let's bring up the team one more time just for kicks. And just like that, the team rating is down to something much more manageable. Congrats. You now have your infinite streak. There we go, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments about the streak, how I got it, or any other fun gameplay involved with that, be sure to leave that down in the comment section. I'm also uploading the long play. It's unedited, it has no commentary, so if you want to check that out, feel free. Till next time, take care, talk soon, and be well. Take care, everybody.